Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. Thank you so much for downloading the Faith Life Podcast. I'm your host, Pastor Nathan, here with my co-host, Pastor Matt.
Hey, guys.
You know, like all those, I'm trying to put some crazy intonation on it today.
Sure don't.
Why not?
It's great. It's great.
Okay, it's a great day to have a great day. And we are so glad you have joined us this lovely morning. If you have not done so already, please take a minute. Leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts, on Spotify, or wherever you downloaded this. And if you're watching us on YouTube, go ahead, leave us a comment down below, or make sure you like, make sure you subscribe, make sure you follow, all that good stuff. And you can email us, podcast@dfchurch.com. That's podcast@dfchurch.com. Or you can leave a comment on a TikTok like so many of you did this week. We are going to be getting to those later. It's going to be a lot of fun, Matt. Are you excited for some cantankerous commentary?
So excited for that.
But wherever you are, however you are, we're glad you're here. Now, Matt.
Yes.
Let's jump in with the news of the world.
Yeah.
All right. We've been talking a lot about the news, and we're not going to do that as our whole topic again today.
Okay.
I want to maybe take a step back, maybe be a little bit lighter, a little more fun today, a little interactive today. Well, not interactive, but you'll see what I mean at home soon. But before we get into that, we should say, you know, we recorded last week, and we had to record earlier with Rabbi Jack, and we said even by the time this comes out, things might be different, and who knows where things are.
Right.
So it was kind of funny because a ceasefire got put in place, and then I guess like 11 minutes later broken.
Yes.
So that wasn't good, and it seemed like it was Israel that broke the ceasefire. Right?
I believe so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because we got something that I think might be the first time in history as a result of this, which is a president dropping an F-bomb on live TV. Did you see that?
I didn't see it, but I heard about it. Yeah.
Yeah. I saw this clip. It's going around, and it's like, it's such an interesting thing. It's like, we're in a weird place where we've got a president who has done that. It's kind of fun, right?
It's kind of something.
It's a weird world we live in. So yeah, you could tell President Trump was very, very annoyed because of how fast the ceasefire disintegrated. Now, I haven't heard in the past few days, has it amped up at all, or is it seeming like it's continuing to cool?
It seems like it's continuing to cool. I was reading an article this morning that was actually about Iran's supreme leader speaks out publicly for the first time since everything, or since the bunker busters and then the ceasefire and then the breaking of it. But the article says that with the ceasefire, life is slowly starting to return to normal for Iran, or for residents of Iran, I guess.
Now, we had also heard reports that maybe their leader had fled.
Right.
Do we know if he's still?
I don't know where he made these comments from. Okay. I didn't see that, but he did say, I guess they gave a slap to the face of the U.S. With the attack they made on the U.S. base in Qatar. Mm-hmm. And so what he said is the Islamic Republic was victorious and in retaliation delivered a hand slap to America's face. This action can be repeated in the future.
Okay.
I'm like,
it seemed like it was very much a kind of like a saving face type thing more than anything. Because I think they even told us, hey, we're going to bomb your base.
Right.
Hey, that sounds like something we're going to talk about later too. They gave us advance notice of where they were going to bomb us.
Right. Yes. Bomb your base.
Oh, goodness.
And then he said, should any aggression occur, the enemy will definitely pay a heavy price. But he correlated that with this little slap to the face.
Right. It was more of a symbolic, we did something back. Like there was no loss of life.
Is it like neener type of moment from like the kids' playground?
It was one of those things where it's like, we attacked you and we utterly decimated a lot of stuff. Now I've heard, it might not be as much of a detriment to their nuclear program as we would have hoped.
It just set them back a few months, maybe.
Right. But we, if nothing else, showed that we could get some bomber jets from our country into your country, drop some pretty impressive explosives, and leave without you even knowing we were there. And at the very least, it's kind of a, well, don't mess with us type thing, right?
Right.
And so our producer in the room says the Black Knight and Monty Python. Yes, where he just acts like he's going to be able to destroy you as we just utterly take him apart piece by piece. That's kind of where...
Just a flesh wound?
It's just a flesh wound. Yes. Now, so yes, we came in, we did a clear tactical superior attack on them, and they respond by saying, well, but we're gonna shoot a missile on your bases, so meh. And they did, and nothing really happened. But at least it felt like it's probably so they can go back and be like, see, we're ready for anything.
Right.
Our people, hoorah, go Iran.
It's so funny.
It's just
when you talk about it this way, it just feels so childish.
It really does.
All right.
But what happens next, we'll see.
Right.
I feel like, everybody was like, this is the end. This is World War III, which I think was overblown. There was what about all the sleeper cells that are going to, we'll see.
Right. We'll see what happens.
I think that they would have to be beyond foolish to do an actual terrorist attack. Now, that doesn't mean they won't, but I think if they were to do some sort of coordinated, activate a sleeper cell on the 4th of July as a symbolic strike against us, and that obviously that's where you got crowds and you could theoretically, do something. I think that would more than likely unite us in a way like we saw after September 11th. And I think we would immediately retaliate against Iran. And I think it would not be long. It would not be a long and difficult thing for us to topple them. Right. Like, wasn't it something crazy? Like when we finally decided to go to Iraq, regardless of if that was right or wrong or the right idea or how long we were stuck there afterwards, the initial, when we engaged to toppling their government, how long did it take? It was something very, very short.
It was quick. Yeah.
36. Now I don't want to be misinformationalizing here. How long did it?
Yeah, while you're looking that up, Jeremiah, our producer in the room, talked about Loveland, the city just south of where we are right now, where a lot of our people live. Normally, we as a church, we go and celebrate the Loveland fireworks show. Mm-hmm. Loveland's not hosting any 4th of July celebration this year. This is all prior to these, potential issues that might happen. And so I was actually going to joke that, well, that's okay because we're not celebrating 4th of July anyway. Because of that, but he beat me to it. So good job.
So yeah, it's saying overall it took a month from the time we started the invasion and to when their government fell. So that is still that's pretty crazy, right? 1 month to topple another country.
Right.
How long did it take in World War II?
More than a month
for Germany to advance as far as they did, and they never even fully took over.
Right.
They occupied territory, right? There's occupied France, but they didn't in 1 month steamroll over France and have it toppled. Right. So all that to say, I think my guess would be, they took Poland. How long did it take Germany to take Poland, though? I'm not a World War II historian. I will say, on a side note, the other night we watched a movie with the kids. It's called The Producers, 1967. It's Mel Brooks' first movie. And it's really funny. But I was trying to give the kids a little bit of a perspective on just probably how, they were even a little bit whoa, because, all right, real quick.
Springtime for Hitler and Germany.
So the whole premise is that these guys realized you could make more money on a Broadway flop than on a hit because they could oversell illegally all of the percentage of the profits. So they sell 25,000% of profits to all these little old ladies. And the idea is, as long as there's no profit, we can put on this play for a little amount of money, and we can keep the rest of the money. We'll raise $1 million. We'll spend $40,000 putting on the play, and we'll keep the rest because we don't have to pay back any profits because it's going to flop. Okay. So they go to pick the worst play that they can, and they find a play called Springtime for Hitler.
Yeah.
And it's written by like a Nazi guy and blah, blah, blah. And like the people are on the stage doing like swastikas. And even now you're like, whoa, that's kind of funny. But I was like, kids in perspective, this was only 20 years after World War II. And so it would be kind of like if you made a movie now called like Springtime for the 9/11 hijackers and dressed up as them and reenacted the Twin Towers. Like this was probably a like pretty shocking moment, but it's in a way, okay, Jeremiah says 36 days for Poland to fall. Okay, so they did pretty good on Poland. But so this movie was in its way of mocking and making fun of the Nazis and Hitler and all that stuff, but probably pretty shocking in the meantime. So all that to say, World War III didn't start yet. I don't think we saw the Ezekiel prophecies come together. I think it was, there was a lot of furor. Not furor, not that kind of furor.
That's what I'm like, wait a minute, what?
Furor, how do you say? No, furor, like.
Fear?
No.
What you trying to say?
Furor, not fervor. Hang on. I'm trying to look up the word. Furor, an outbreak of public anger or excitement. Furor. What? How else do you say that word?
No, that would be furor,
but not. No, that's just funnily timed. All right, guys, man, I'm sorry. That is going far afield. But all that to say, I think we're okay.
Yeah.
And I think it's probably going to cool itself down.
The thing about this that stands out to me, much like everything that happens politically, because I think a lot of this is political, is you see everyone calling for Trump's removal. Because he did this without, he did an act of war without congressional approval. Well, no, he authorized some strikes. Now, I don't want to, go into any sort of facts about history at all. But when Obama was president, he authorized over 26,000 missile strikes during his tenure.
Right.
And was never called out as breaking.
No, it's every president since I looked this up.
I know Bush has.
Every single president since, oh my goodness, it was like the 70s or something, has at some point or another had, because of there's an act that was passed that clearly defines that certain things like certain military maneuvers like missile strikes and things like that are within the commander-in-chief's purview of duties, right? Like he is, there should have been nothing controversial and now it's not one of those like, well, every president, that's like, but yeah, it's never been a problem.
Right. It's only a problem because it's Donald Trump. Or because
I take that back.
Today's culture of
I'll take
division.
that back. For instance, when Obama did some drone strikes and it targeted Americans, who are overseas, not in our country, I remember every Republican I knew saying the same types of things. This is terrible. He shouldn't have done this. Not because it was an act of war, but just because he was aggressing on Americans.
Yeah.
Aggressively targeting.
Aggressor-sizing. I like that one. Aggressively exercising.
All right. I got to also say, I rode my bike to work today and I'm tired. And so my brain's a little loopy.
Little brain fog.
Yeah. So ultimately the whole double standard of it's annoying and it annoys me either way when it happens. If you're defending 100%. Trump now, but you were mad when Biden or Obama did it, why? If you're attacking Trump now, but you didn't say anything when Obama did it or Biden did it, why?
Right.
Same thing with like the deportation. If you're mad that Trump is enforcing and deporting people, but you never said anything when it was Obama doing it, why?
Right.
Or the one that really gets me, I think it's the extreme sides on both ways, right? The deportation issue. There's a certain way where you could argue, as a Christian, should we support? We've talked about this, like biblically speaking, in the Old Testament, welcome the foreigner land. Right. Jesus says, take care of those who are in need, and these people are in need. And so, as a Christian, and I've heard a lot of people say, "Well, Christians, why are you so pro deportation when the Bible says to take care of immigrants, and it's all these things. And there's a conversation to be had about that. And there could be a conversation of saying, yeah, there's maybe a too harsh of a stance to take where we are, you're actively hurting people in your quest for deportation. But all these people who are, out protesting and saying abolish ICE and get rid of immigration, where have you been? Because, and you're throwing that biblical standard of like care for the immigrant. Every part of the past, most immigrants who are here illegally, especially in these places, are living in very cramped spaces, making well below any type of livable wage, because they can be taken advantage of. Because if you're here illegally, you don't have to follow any laws with taking care of them or paying them. And so we've had years and years of almost slave labor for these, and you've never said anything. You've never been out here trying to say we need to care for the immigrants. That's just as neglectful. So that just bugs me.
I saw a clip that was put together. Now, obviously, you can make things say whatever you want them to say, but it was politicians over the past, 15 plus years, maybe even 20, but all referencing to immigrants from Mexico and Central America and even South America, but referencing to them as who's going to work the fields.
Right.
And I'm like, there's a problem there.
Right.
Because then we're just, like you mentioned, almost slave labor. We're just looking at these people as you aren't necessarily a person.
Right.
You're a task completer for me, because I don't want to do that job. And so,
absolutely,
yeah, there's hypocrisy on both sides. And so my thought as Christians, bringing this back to this faith life intersection is let's be people of integrity. It doesn't matter who says it. Right. Let's be people of integrity. Absolutely. Just because someone I don't like says something that a year ago I also said doesn't now mean I say, well, that was terrible. No.
Right.
Scripture says let your yes be yes and your no be no. It doesn't say let your yes be yes for this person only.
Right.
So it gets down to an integrity issue.
Right.
But being hypocrites, I think that's one of the biggest reasons people are turned off by Christianity, because they see people who claim to be Christians and we're hypocrites.
Right.
And yes, we're not going to be perfect. We can't be perfect. However, we can be people of integrity more often than not. When we recognize our lack of integrity, let's call ourselves out for it, apologize for it, repent from it, and do better next time.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, let's move into our main topic for today. Like I said, I wanted to take a step back, maybe be a little bit lighter, and maybe be interactive is not quite the word, but it's going to be participatory in some ways for people who are listening or watching. Because what I wanted to do, Matt, is on the spot, you have no preparation for this. We are going to do some Bible trivia. So you at home, if you're watching or listening, feel free to shout out the answer. Yell it out in your car. You're going to be driving down the road and you're going to be like, Hezekiah or whatever. It's going to be great.
You're going to be driving down the road and be like, Matt, you're an idiot. Why didn't you? Oh, that was a harsh word. We might just be
laughing at Matt. It's going to be great.
I get test anxiety, you guys. And I also rode my bike into work today.
All right. So here's the thing. I just looked these up. I have not fact checked all these answers, so hopefully they're right.
Okay,
we'll do it as you just
Jesus
say that every time.
Jesus is for everything. That's gonna be my default. Let's go.
No, your very first question is gonna be that's a funny answer.
All right, let's go.
If you say Jesus. All right, so here's how I've got this broken up for you.
Am I allowed to use the Bible?
No. You have to just do this.
Because it's Bible.
It's Bible trivia. You can't look up the answers. This isn't an open book test. This is not an open book test,
bro. They don't do closed book tests anymore.
I know.
We're too snowflakey. We have to have an open book test.
This is closed book. So I know you've got a laptop there, but you can. I
closed it.
Yeah, that's fine.
It's gone.
Pause
on the side.
Pause a second so that the people at home, even if you immediately know the answer, pause for a second. We're gonna let you at home participate along with us.
I love it.
Okay. So we've got 5 questions per category, 6 categories, 30 questions.
It's like
is that
Jeopardy style.
That's how math works?
5, 6.
All right. So, but you're not going to get to, I won't have you pick.
Right, I'm not going to say I'll take the answer is Jesus for 200.
Is it 5 on each one?
I think it's 5 on each one because it's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10.
Cool.
Money wise.
We could have done this Jeopardy style.
That's okay. Let's
And
go.
put little things up. So category 1 is Old Testament adventures.
Oh, that sounds fun.
All right, so your answer is Jesus.
My answer
Question
is Jesus.
1. What weapon did Samson use to strike down 1,000 Philistines?
Jesus.
That's scary. This is an easy one.
He is the weapon.
We're starting you off easy.
Right. How long do I give everyone to listen?
Just a pause.
Yeah. Was this the jawbone?
Of what?
A donkey.
A donkey, Shrek.
Shrek was the weapon.
No, Shrek was Samson.
Shrek was Samson using the jawbone of like his donkey.
Yeah. Can you imagine a reimagining? All right, ChatGPT, give me a picture of Shrek using the donkey's jawbone to kill the Philistines. I love that idea.
Lord Farquhar. Farquhar?
Yeah, those are his people.
How do you say his name?
That Farquad.
Farquad.
Yes.
Not Farquhart.
No. Okay. Number 2. Who hid the Israelite spies on her rooftop in Jericho?
Oh.
All right. That's probably enough time. We're easing you into this.
Why am I blanking on her name? Rahab?
Oh, Rahab. Correct. All right. Now,
it's when I like go through the whole story and I'm like, I know this, but why don't I have the name in place?
Okay. Number 3. Okay. Which judge made a rash vow that cost him his daughter?
Oh, shoot.
This one's a little bit harder. This one's a little bit harder for you at home. You might be shouting it out at your screen right now. I know. I'm sorry. I give you testing anxiety. I should have made a little bit of music to play while we were waiting.
I do not know this one immediately. All right, I'll give you a hint. The top of my head.
It starts with a J. Does that help?
Well, I was going to say Barack because we were just talking about Obama. So it's not.
It's not Barack.
Judge Judy.
It's not Judge Judy.
Jehoshaphat.
The correct answer is Jephthah.
Jeff.
Just call him Jeff.
Oh, good old Jeffy.
But with a PH at the end.
I'm Jeff with a PH.
Jeff.
I love it. All right. I got one wrong, guys. Did you get that right? You probably got it right. Like the people listening to this. At home? Yeah.
Okay. What river did Naaman wash in to be healed of leprosy?
Names and locations, man.
I know. It's kind of fun.
What river did Naaman wash in to be cleared of leprosy? He washed in the Nile.
Oh, so close. But no, the Jordan.
That was my second guess.
All right. Last for this first category. Number 5. Who was Ruth's kinsman redeemer?
Yes.
You know this one?
I know this one. Here's my question. This category was Old Testament adventures.
Yeah, leprosy, killing your kid, kinsman redeemed.
I'm not getting quite the adventure that I was hoping for in this one.
Jawbone of a donkey.
That one was adventurous.
Okay. Rash vow to kill your kid.
Yeah.
It's the adventure of a lifetime.
Are we ready?
Yep.
It is Boaz.
Boaz, which I always thought sounded like a used car salesman.
Yeah. All right.
All right. How'd you guys do? Watching along at home, category 1 is done. So we're going to move on to 2. The miracles of Jesus.
Jesus. That's the answer.
At whose wedding did Jesus turn water into wine? His own.
Jesus.
Oh, no. That's a different theological take. I don't think we're going down that route.
Oh.
It wasn't his own wedding.
Wait, whose wedding was it? The wedding at Cana.
Yeah. Whose wedding was it?
And mom said, make some wine. And he was like, woman, it's not my time, which is one of my favorite lines that I will never, ever say to my mom.
The answer that it gave me, you've already said. It's not a person. It's I'll just say because you said it already. The wedding at Cana. So maybe we don't know.
There's a
whose
location.
it was.
That's
at whose wedding.
Is Cana a person now?
Yes. Oh, Cana. No. All right. So maybe we could speculate though. Whose could it have been?
His parents. They were renewing their vows.
Oh, it's a vow renewal. I don't know if they did that. Peter.
Could it have been Peter?
Could have been. Why not?
I feel like we would have.
Did he not know?
Told.
Did he know Peter by that point? This is his first.
We don't know whose wedding this is.
Maybe John, his cousin.
We'll look it up. If you know, without having to open up the Bible,
I don't think it says. I don't think it says.
Yeah.
But there's an interesting thing that his mom asked him to come get involved. Yeah. Why would she be, and why were they there? The implication is it might have been familial.
Right.
Because the mom is like, oh, hey, they ran out of something. They ran out. Like how, if you're just a guest, has anybody ever come up to you? Like if you were at somewhere at a wedding with your parents and you were just guests, would your parents be like, oh, hey, man, the buffet table's out. Can you fix it?
I mean, if I knew my kid could just make a beautiful buffet appear,
even if you're just a guest,
I'd like, hey, I'm still hungry. Get me some food, bro.
Right. What I'm saying is that it feels like there's some sort of a connection there his mom was involved in wanting to make sure things.
A question for another day. Maybe listeners, let us know your thoughts.
Podcast@dfchurch.com.
Jesus told his mom, it's not yet my time.
Woman.
Implying that God, the Father, has determined when the right time is, yet Jesus still performed this miracle. So, did he disobey God God the Father in order to obey his mother?
I don't think so, because to disobey God would be a sin.
Right.
All right.
But he said it wasn't my time and he did it anyway. Is that just showing an example of servant-heartedness where even though I'm not ready, I'm not prepared, I don't want to, I'm still going to do everything I can to help and serve and love anyway? I don't know. Let me know your thoughts.
Email us, because that's a good question.
Yeah.
All right. Number 7. Which disciple tried briefly to walk on the water with Jesus?
I want to walk on water. There's our music for them to think about the answer. Is that enough time?
Yeah.
His name was Peter.
Pedro
the lion.
Oh, Peter. Correct. Number 8. How many lepers returned to thank Jesus after being healed? Not leopards. Lepers.
Leopards.
He's healing the leopards.
Of their spots.
Yeah. What did they become?
Wait.
Whoa.
Is the cat leopard named because of their spots look like leprosy?
I don't think so, because it's spelled very differently.
That's fair.
That's just a weird, and that's one of those weird English coincidences where these two words sound alike, but they're actually not etymologically connected.
I have no idea, so I'm going to say 1.
You are correct. It was one leper who actually returned. The rest of them said toots later.
Toots. Like toodles?
Yeah. Okay. That's the short version of toodles. Wow. I'm tired.
All right. We're something this morning.
Slap happy today. I told you, a lighter episode today. Number 9. What did Jesus use to heal the blind man in John 9?
He spit in some mud and rubbed it on his eyes and had him go wash it off.
I mean, technically, didn't he spit in some dirt and made it into mud?
That's a good point, because it wasn't yet mud.
It wasn't yet mud until it had spit. That's kind of gross. It's not very hygienic.
So gross. Imagine being the blind guy, like, wait, what did I just hear?
Yeah.
What is he spitting on? No.
And then I wonder if it kind of like fizzed and burned a little. And then
like hydrogen peroxide type of, like when you put it on an infected wound and it bubbles up a little.
Yeah. Oh, man. All right.
This just got real gross.
Last but not least, miracles of Jesus. In which town did Jesus raise Lazarus from the dead? Which town was it?
Lazarus' hometown. That's good enough, right?
No, because we know this one.
I know, but why?
This is a common name for, not common, but I knew girls with this name, if that helps you.
So it's not Capernaum.
Yeah, that's it. No, I have never met a Capernaum.
That was going to be if I had to just guess of a little town in the area. You knew girls with this name.
Yeah. And I'm sure you have as well. This is not an uncommon name, at least.
Now I'm going down a whole new path, just naming girls' names in my head. And I'm like, there's not a city named after
Jessica.
Right? Cecilia. I don't know.
Oh,
I can't think of it off the top of my head.
The answer we're looking for is Bethany.
Oh, I know a Bethany. Yep.
See?
Yep. Bethany, if you're listening, I'm sorry. I didn't get this one right.
Does she listen to this podcast?
I have no idea.
All right. Well, if you are, email us. Let us know. If your name is Bethany, I want you to stop what you're doing right now. Email podcast@dfchurch.com and just be like, hey,
how dare you, Matt?
I'm a Bethany.
Just say, how dare you, Matt?
How dare you? All right. Category 3.
Oh, okay.
Famous first lines.
Oh.
So complete this verse. And I guess you can pick your translation and we'll call it close enough. In the beginning, God, and I can even tell you Genesis 1.
So this isn't like people's famous first lines necessarily, right? It wasn't the first words we have recorded from Peter is.
No.
Because these are is the famous first line of the Bible. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth.
Exactly.
Okay.
You got it. But so number 12, the Lord is my shepherd opens which psalm?
Oh.
So that's the first line of that psalm. This is a weird category also. Give them a second. Psalm 23. Yes, that is Psalm 23. All right. See, you're getting this here. All right.
I'm on a roll, baby.
Number 13, blessed or blessed are the poor in spirit begins which well-known teaching?
Oh, the Sermon on the Mount.
Okay. And do you know what, just for
Matthew 5 would be where it starts.
You got it. See, look at this. You got this. All right. 14, Paul, an apostle of Christ Jesus.
Starts so many letters.
Is the greeting in which New Testament letter to young church leaders? You can pick.
Yeah. We have options.
There are 2 options.
Yeah.
With that specific.
I believe he starts off his first letter to Timothy with that.
1 Timothy is correct.
Oh.
All right. Finally, this is maybe the hardest one.
Oh.
There is therefore now no condemnation starts which chapter of Romans?
Romans 5. No, it's not Romans 5. There's therefore now no condemnation for those who are in Christ Jesus.
I'll give you one more chance.
Oh, hang on. Not that. I would just guess a random number. So
Romans 8.
8. That would have been my actual guess, but I was like, Romans 8:1 doesn't sound right for their.
Yeah, that's what it says. 8:1.
Dang.
That was category 3.
Dumb.
Why is that dumb?
Me.
Oh, okay.
That's like one of the first verses I memorized in Awana as a child.
All right. You're on category 4 of 6. We're just going to keep on cranking through these. This is kind of fun.
I think because of my...
So halfway. This is the halfway point.
Because of my inability to remember things, I am much more like generous to when I would listen to verses in Awana and things like that. Because I'm like, the heart of the message and that it is from God's word and an approximate area. Oh, the Apostle Paul wrote that. Cool.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. Jesus didn't always quote verbatim.
He said, you've heard that it was said.
Yeah. And they were sometimes paraphrasing a little.
Yeah.
So,
but he's also Jesus. And I feel like if anyone has permission to just say what he wants to say.
The apostles did as well.
That's true.
And if it's good enough for them, it's good enough for me.
It's good enough for the goose. It's good for the gander.
All right. Category 4.
You had a little smirk for a second when you looked down at category 4. I'm scared.
Women of the word.
Women of the word.
So, question 16. Which prophetess led Israel in song after the Red Sea crossing? I wouldn't have thought. I guess prophetess is an interesting title. Is she referred to this throughout? I think so.
I mean, the only name I'm getting for a prophetess right now is Deborah.
That is incorrect.
But she wasn't a part of that. So
no. So who was with? Just think about. Take the prophetess phrase out of it.
Right.
What woman sings a song with the Israelites after the Red Sea crossing?
Naomi. Ruth. Bethany. I got nothing right now. My mind is blank.
Right. The answer is...
I'm not even picturing a song sung after the crossing.
Oh, yeah. Miriam.
Oh, yeah. It was Miriam.
Sister of Moses.
100%. Yeah. Thank you.
All right.
Now, if you would have said, who's Miriam, I would have been able to do a little bit better.
All right. Who sat at Jesus' feet while her sister did the serving?
Oh. Mary did the sitting while Martha did the serving.
Correct. Mary.
Yeah. I said that too quickly. I'm sorry.
Bethany.
Yeah, of Bethany. Yeah.
Okay. This next one's pretty easy for you, but that's okay. Which queen risked her life to save her people from Haman's plot?
Why is it easy, Nathan?
Because this is a very well-known story, I thought.
So it's not Bethany? That was a really cool sound.
I wonder, did that come through the recording? Wait. That could be your, if we ever, real quick, if we ever did like a game show style thing where you had to like buzz in first.
Why did I just blank on the name? I had it until I started thinking about that song, and now it's gone, Nathan.
Wait, really?
Yes.
Oh my goodness, this is fun.
I don't like tests.
That's going to get a little harder.
Give me a letter.
E. There's a book of the Bible named after her. It's the only book in the Bible that does not explicitly mention God. Everybody at home.
Esther,
yes, there you go. Everyone at home is just shouting at their TV right now, I think. Oh, goodness gracious. Number 19.
I was going through like the whole story here. I just slouched because I like destroyed myself. Okay.
Who was the businesswoman and seller of purple cloth who hosted Paul in Philippi? It's a very Greek sounding name, I think. I like this name. It's a good one.
I'm getting yelled at again. I don't have her name. I don't hate women, I promise you guys.
It starts with an L.
Lydia.
Lydia is correct.
Dang.
Lydia. And last, for the women of the word, which elderly widow spoke about Jesus in the temple alongside Simeon? Her name is a palindrome, if that helps you at all.
Mom.
Mom is not correct. The correct answer is...
It is a palindrome.
The correct answer is Anna.
Half point.
No.
Anna or Hannah?
Anna.
Because they're both palindromes and sound similar.
Depends on how you spell Hannah, but yes. You can spell it without the H at the end.
Only if you're not the female version. Isn't that like Hanna-Barbera?
No, there's a movie called Hannah. Doesn't it not have the H on the end?
Yeah, but that's not English. And the Bible was written in English. It wasn't, you guys. It was not.
Okay.
It was not.
I'm going to just clip that part out and put it up on TikTok. The Bible was written in English.
It was written in King James.
All right. Chapter. Category 5.
Real quick.
Okay.
Didn't we get a comment on one of our, when we were talking about Bible translations, didn't we get a comment that said it was written in King James or something along those lines? I feel like I remember seeing that and I was like.
We have one that was like, King James is the only right way to go.
Yeah.
Ugh. All right, number 5, category 5. This is Bible geography.
I hate geography.
How good are you at geography? Because I'm terrible at it.
I know where I live, barely.
All right, well, 21.
Okay.
On what mount did Elijah face off against the prophets of Baal or Baal or Baal? I don't know how you say his name, really.
I always say Baal. Because I don't want to say ball, because that sounds like a playground ball.
Sure.
And that's weird to be like, weird. He faced off against...
prophets of the Baal.
Right. Yeah. On what mount? It was not Mount Olympus.
No. Although that would have been fun.
It was not Mount Fuji.
No, that would have been weird.
It was not Mount McKinley.
I don't even know what that is. It was not Mount Rushmore.
Oh, that would be impressive though.
It was not Mount Ararat.
Wasn't Mount... No, I'm just gonna say Mount Olive, but it wasn't that.
No.
Yeah, what was it?
Mount Carmel.
Oh, Carmel.
Or Carmel.
Carmel.
Yeah.
Caramel.
Not caramel,
Right.
which everybody
Do you say
pronounces
caramel as caramel?
I say caramel.
You say caramel.
I might say a caramel, but there is that extra A there.
No matter what variety it is.
Yeah.
Okay.
Why wouldn't I? Why would I not pronounce the letter that's in the word?
Because I know some people who are like,
oh no, we argue with this in my family all the time.
Oh, okay. Then we'll move on. I don't want to bring up some open wounds.
No, it's people say it's caramel.
Right.
It's not caramel.
Right.
Caramel. If anything, put that extra A in there.
Caramel.
Pronounce the A.
It sounds so pretentious. It's right, but it sounds so pretentious. Yeah.
It's like it sounds British. Caramel. Aspartame.
Well,
aluminium.
British English is known for adding extra letters that aren't necessary anyway.
Aluminum.
Like aluminium. All right, what's next?
Number 22.
Here's my guess. There's 5 questions per category, right? So of the geography ones, my guess is I'm going to get 1 correct.
All right, so you've gotten 0 so far.
I'm 0 for 0. 0 for 1, I mean.
Where did Moses strike the rock that gushed water in the wilderness of Zin?
In the wilderness of Zin. 1 for 2. Move on.
No.
Oh, on the side.
No.
Of the rock.
No, there's a location name with this.
It asked me whose wedding, and it was a location.
That's a good point, but this one gives us an actual... And
not the wilderness of Zin, not the side of the rock, a very specific location within the wilderness of Zin.
That they gave it a name after they were done. They're like,
we shall call this place because I struck a rock here.
Yeah. Because that word probably meant I struck a rock and God gave me water.
Or water flows from a rock or something silly, right? Not silly, something meaningful. Nope.
Meribah or Kadesh.
Oh, I had 2 possibilities here.
Yeah.
You know what Kadesh reminds me of?
What?
Kung Fu Panda.
Okay.
Skadoosh.
Kadesh. That just sounds like something like a Star Wars location. Either of those, Meribah or Kadesh.
Yeah.
I don't know why. Number 23.
I'm 0 for 2 in geography.
Jesus met the woman at the well in which Samaritan town?
Samaria?
That's the country. Geography's hard.
I don't like geography.
I would have done just as poorly on this. I think I would have gotten
Samaritan town.
3 of them though. So, but this one I would not have gotten.
Wellspring.
Ah, yes, the town of Wellspring in Samaria. Sychar.
Nope.
Okay. 24. Paul delivered his unknown God sermon on what Athenian hill? This one you should get. And there's 2 names you can go with. You can go with like it's more Greek name. Think about there's some ministries named after this.
Yeah.
It's a hill. Athenian hill.
It's a hill, not a mount.
Right. Think of what hill would this be?
Is this hill alive with the sound of music?
Yes, it's in Switzerland. No.
Bethel.
Bethel Hill
is a mount.
No.
Olympus. No, that's a mount. Hill.
Okay, think about this. I'm gonna try to let you get there. This was a hill where they had a thing for an unknown god, as well as lots of other statues of gods.
How is that supposed to help me?
It's named after one of their other gods,
but not the unknown god where Paul talked or what he addressed.
Come on,
Baal. Zeus.
You're going to be like, oh, duh, once I tell you the answer.
Hercules. Maui. Demigod.
All right. Are you ready for the answer?
I'm ready for the answer.
Mars Hill.
I said that. Why didn't you listen to me?
Also called the Areopagus.
Yeah,
for Ares.
Right.
The god of war.
That's the more Greek name of that.
Yeah.
That you're talking about. Good job.
John wrote Revelation while exiled on which island?
Oh. Patmos.
Yes.
Yeah.
You got that one right. Good job. You got one.
I said I was going to get one.
And you did. I was surprised. I thought you would have gotten Mars Hill. Like Mark Driscoll and Mars Hill Church.
I try and,
Matt Chandler was a part of some Mars Hill thing. There's multiple Mars Hill ministries.
Multiple Mars Hillses.
Mars's Hillses.
Marzipan.
All right. A final category. Category 6, numbers and facts. Good luck. Question 26. How many
42.
total chapters are there in the book of Psalms?
150.
You are correct. The answer is 150. Good job. How many people were saved on Noah's Ark?
Define saved.
How
like
many
they didn't
people-
die from the flood, or they like placed their faith in Jesus?
Yes.
Salvation?
He did an altar call
He
at
did
the
an
end.
altar call?
No. Yeah. How many people? Well, okay. How many people were on it?
All right. So
How many humans were
you
on it?
had Noah's wife, 3 sons and their wives. 3 plus 3 is 6 plus 2 is 8. There were 8 people on that boat.
You are correct. 8. All right. We're 2 for 2 here. Question 28. How many days did the Israelites march around Jericho before the walls?
Josh fought the
fell?
battle of Jericho. Josh, that doesn't say the number.
And
The walls came tumbling down. 7 times. Not how many times they march around. How many days? What's the
How
question?
many days did the Israelites march around Jericho
Dang it.
before the walls fell?
7 feels right. It's a good number. 40 feels right, biblically speaking. But then 12 also is a good number. 7.
Final answer is 7.
Yeah.
7 is correct. Once per day for six days, and then 7 times on day 7.
Yeah. Which is only 13, which is weird. 13 total march arounds.
March around
over the 7 days.
It's not. If they
7
did,
plus 6. Once for 6 days and 7 on the
oh yeah, you're right.
last day.
I can't number. 29. How many baskets of leftovers were collected after Jesus fed the 5,000?
$40.
Incorrect. The answer is 12.
12.
I want 12 of them.
1 per disciple.
Or per tribe of Israel.
Aw.
Your last question.
I'm sad I got that one wrong.
For the final one, and I have not been keeping track. I don't know your total score.
I failed miserably.
But question 30, in the parable of the lost sheep, how many sheep stayed safely in the fold?
He left the 99 to go after the 1.
He left the 99. Correct.
So 11.
Good golly. So there was your 30 Bible trivia questions.
I love it.
How do you feel about it?
Awful. Yeah. But I knew that was going to happen.
Hey, if you were watching, playing along at home, email us, podcast@dfchurch.com. Let me know how many of those you got correct.
I do bad at tests, you guys.
Apparently.
Yeah.
But that's okay. It's all for
I got
fun.
4 of 5 in the last category.
Yeah,
that's
you did
pretty
really good. You did pretty good there.
But I got 1 of 5 in the category before that. So that's
Not
5
as
of
good.
10 in total. That's failing.
Oh my goodness. That was pretty fun. Good.
It's so sad.
Well, let's move real quick into some of our comments. Now, we, not surprisingly, got a lot of feedback on Rabbi Jack, at least in some of the clips I put on TikTok. One of the videos we posted, we were talking about Israel committing genocide. And I think people don't know what that word
actually
means, because literally, like, Hamas in Gaza has, as part of their charter, to wipe out the Jewish people. Like, that's genocide,
That
to
would be
remove
genocide.
a race of people. Now, just attacking, fighting is not genocide. Genocide is the removal of an ethnic group of people. And so when we said, is Israel committing genocide? And he said, well, it's really hard to say you're committing genocide if you are warning them in advance that you're going to attack. Now, we could argue over whether or not it's right to attack them at all, and that's a whole
different
separate
conversation.
But to call that genocide, that's a poor way of committing genocide, is to say, hey, if you're here, you're going to die, so move out of this way on this day.
Right. It would be like saying, now this is in a much smaller, silly way to look at it, but if like a local church body were a ethnic group, right? You wanted to completely annihilate and remove the entirety of Discovery Fellowship Church attenders.
Right.
So you said in advance, on Sunday morning, this coming Sunday, we're going to bomb the place.
Right.
So don't go if you want to live.
Right.
And then we bombed it.
Right.
And then had no desire to wipe out the people who didn't show up. Right. Even though they're Discovery Fellowship Church attendees, right? Like that's a silly way to put it, but that's exactly what is going on here.
But we get the comments. Somebody said, I don't understand what this means, before.
Because Rabbi Jack said, was it before or after
there we go.
They dropped all the pamphlets saying this place is going to get bombed, flee for your safety type of thing.
Somebody else said, as soon as they can no longer deny that it is a genocide, they start to defend the genocide. Brilliant. But again, I think they're not understanding what genocide means.
We're not defending the loss of life.
Right.
We're not defending attacks on people. What we are saying is that it is not actual genocide, because the desire of Israel was not to completely eliminate an ethnic group of people.
One person said, this guy needs to be met with Vlad the Impaler before his time ends. Maybe then you'll have compassion and an understanding.
Is that a bomb? Vlad the Impaler?
No, that's like the original source of Dracula. It was a guy named Vlad the Impaler who lived a long time ago.
He was the source of Dracula?
That's where Dracula is based off this historical figure who just would stick people on spikes outside of his castle.
Come to suck your blood.
Yeah.
That's all I think of with Dracula.
Dude has zero real world knowledge. That's kind of funny.
That was a weird one, yeah.
They started committing genocide when they killed Jesus.
Yeah, I thought that was an interesting comment.
This is kind of an anti-Semitic thing, and charged Christians 50% interest in the Middle Ages. Yeah. It's kind of Izzy, I guess that's Israel, is committing genocide. In short, they still killed people. Free Palestine, of course.
Right.
Who's colonizing who.
In short, they still killed people. Yes. But that is not what we're defending. That's not what this clip is talking about.
Right. And it's such a, and we've talked about this. It's like, Israel is in an impossible situation because the enemy that they were fighting in Gaza hides using human shields. Right. So you can either let them continue to attack you and kill your people, or you can retaliate, and knowing that it will unfortunately cause some civilian casualty, and you can do everything you can to try to avoid that. Right. But it'll still happen because they're using those human shields. Like, what are you supposed to do in that situation?
I think anytime it's war, no one wins.
Right.
Right. Someone might eventually come out on top in the war, but you still lost. There was loss of life. There was loss of infrastructure. There was loss of your perception around the world, right? Like war is never the best solution for things. Right. Sorry. War is never the ideal solution for things, but sometimes it's the only solution for things. And I think that's what we're seeing between Hamas and Israel right now. And then even Iran and Israel, but we are seeing at least some peace there, some ceasefire that's happening. But yeah, it's never the ideal situation. I don't think anyone is saying, man, I just wish we could lose more innocent lives.
Right.
And if they are saying that, the rest of the world would probably disagree, which goes back to that objective moral reality that we talked about, objective morality, several weeks ago that we've gotten a lot of comments on as well.
Yeah. So like I said, the other thing that kind of is an interesting thing as you look at some of these comments is there's this is an interesting scenario because it is both a religious group and an ethnicity being Jewish. And so a lot of people are like, why does a religious group need anything? It's like, well, because they're not just a religious group. It is an ethnicity as well.
Right.
And so again, I think I wish I could actually sit down and maybe have a conversation with some of these people.
Well, we talked with Rabbi Jack about that the population of the nation of Israel,
right?
The people who are Israelites by ethnicity,
right?
There's some broad religious groups there.
Yes.
It is not just Jewish religion.
Right.
There's Christians there. There's Muslims there. There are several other religions that live in Israel. Yeah. And so, this is not just a religious thing that's happening right now.
So, anyway, those are just some of the comments, just kind of getting that out there. I'd love to be able to, again, have real conversations. I don't think it's possible other than maybe sometime, the next time we do this, I just had this thought. What we maybe set up like a live stream and actually interact with this in real time, because that would be kind of a fun thing. Have Rabbi Jack back and say, and say, hey, let's open this up and actually try to dialogue about
not
this.
Jack Black.
Not Jack Black.
He's not a rabbi.
Well, I don't know.
That's a good point.
He might be. But that might be something that kind of fun to do. Good. Let us know. Email podcast@dfchurch.com. If we did a live stream sometime, would you tune in? Would you engage with that? I don't know. That'd be kind of fun. But that is all the time we have for today. So thank you so much. Hopefully you had some fun playing some Bible trivia. We'll be back next week on the 4th of July is when the podcast will come out, right? Because that's Friday.
Yep.
Well, that's kind of fun.
Yeah.
Maybe something related to that with the topic. You'll have to tune in and see. But we will see you then.
Bye, guys.